always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new...
Live from the Center Right Radio Studios in Tempe, Arizona, the Chips and Salsa Show. Conservative conversation, picoso, not mocoso, with Don Jorge Ortiz and Alicia Lara. George, former California Democrat union man turned legislative GOP chairman.
And Alice, former New Mexico Democrat turned legislative GOP district state committee woman.
Together, they are your Chips and Salsa Show hosts.
Get your guac on now with George Ortiz and Alice Lara.
Hey, it is time once again. It's Saturday, 4 p.m. It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show. I am Alice Lara, one of your hosts, here with
Don Jorge El Alacran.
We are in the Molcajete as always every Saturday at 4 p.m. We thank you, Chipsters, for joining us. It's going to be a really hot and wonderful show. It's hot outside, but it's even hotter in here. Woohoo! We have a great guest that we're going to bring in totally in a few minutes. Just to introduce you, his name is Brandon Martin. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
He is running for Congressional District Number 2. We had another candidate for the same office last week. That was Danny Morales. There are about 4 people running, but it's equal time here, so we're so glad that Brandon is here with us today, and we'll get to know him here very, very shortly. We've got the Prather Point coming up as well. But, George, I want to wish Edwina Olivas a happy birthday. There's a funny story why I said Olivas, and my husband knows about it. One day I'll tell you about it. Anyway, it's her birthday today, and we're the same age, and I'm not going to tell you that because I don't have permission to disclose her age. But happy birthday, Edwina. Yay, Chipster, we appreciate that. And she is wife of Art, or people know him as Thudi, and Olivas, and he's quite out there in the Republican Party. He's in my LD, so congratulations. I also don't want to be remiss, George, and I want to read a little thank you note that I got from Laugh for Hope. Those of you that follow our show, we are so proud to be a part of Life Choices Women's Clinic, and they do a big, giant fundraiser every year, and they sent me a letter. Thank you for being a sponsor for our 5th annual Laugh for Hope event. They sent it to us at Center Right Radio. Not only does this event bring laughter and inspiration to our guests, but helps mothers and babies in our community. They were able to provide clean, affordable comedy. They had 900 guests in attendance. George, you didn't make it, did you? Unfortunately, you didn't get to go to Laugh for Hope.
No, I didn't.
It was awesome, and just for next year, they have it. I think usually in April. It's a great event. They bring in professional comedians, and they're clean. They are not, dirty or the F word or anything, and they are so funny. What they did, they raised $37,000, which is awesome, to support Life Choices Women's Clinics and Hope Mobile Clinic. And this includes, they had a $10,000 matching donation. So I just wanted to do that. Many of our clients feel abortion may be their only option, but we are here to offer them help, hope, and support to choose life for their unborn baby. Each year, Laugh for Hope provides our audience with a night of hilarious, uplifting comedy while informing them of the good work done by Life Choices Women's Clinic. For several guests, this was their first pro-life fundraiser, and many expressed a desire to become more involved in our ministry. Your sponsorship was truly appreciated. We look forward to your participation again next year. Sincerely, Tanya Gruzinski with Laugh for Hope. She's the executive director, and we thank you for that nice, sweet letter, and we're so happy to be a part of that. It's very, very nice. Okay, George, let's see. Do you have any announcements before we get the Prather Point in?
There was a wedding today in England.
Oh, did you watch the wedding?
No, I kind of... I did it on purpose, not watching it, because to be fair, I just... there's something about that wedding that just kind of irks me a little bit.
What was that? You have to tell us now that you've sparked our interest.
When it's that big of a wedding, you invite the current president and the first family or people from the administration. They close everybody out.
Our president was not invited?
Right, and the same thing with the Obamas wanted to go, and because it was such a flack, they were going to invite the Obamas, but not the Trumps, and so I think at the last minute they decided not to invite none of them. So, and it has to do with his wife, and she's a U.S. citizen. Now she declared herself a citizen of a British
Britain.
citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I just have something
That's-
irks me about that, and I respect the British way of doing things, but right now I'm.
Well, George, I'm glad you brought that up because I haven't been following that at all. I don't get into it. I'm like unlike I guess most women, but I don't get into that kind of stuff. So I had no idea that drama was going on. You would think the fact that she was an American, that for sure our president would have been invited. That's so
and that was
interesting.
because of her.
But it
She's,
was because of her.
Yeah, she followed Michelle Obama, and
Oh,
the
brother.
Obamas are very good friends of hers and stuff.
So nobody got invited. That's funny.
They invited heads of state, but not the United States.
Not United States.
And some of our heads of state might have gone, but something like that, you invite the president. And,
I agree. You're right. All right, we're
so
going to do
anyway.
now. Oh, I think that Steve wants to get just a little closer to your mic. Great. And by the way, our technical director is Steve, and thank you very much, Sexy Steve, for always helping us out. Our producer is Secret Sonia, who provides the cocotazos and the whole enchilada awards. Music by my nephew, David Beasley. Appreciate that. And our logo was created by my great niece, Monica Lara. It's all family here all the time, isn't it, George? Okay.
Yep.
All right. What we're going to do is listen to the Prather Point, and right after that, we're bringing on candidate Brandon Martin. So without further ado, it's Jeff Prather, the fast and furious whistleblower, with the Prather Point.
Jeff Prather here, ex-government insider, now living outside the box, speaking truth to power on the Chips and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point. So, as I have long said, because I have an intimate knowledge through my time in DEA and my time in DIA of classified government activities, including the FISA court, that the FISA court has long had an unholy alliance inside the DOJ, the Department of Justice, and the IC, the intelligence community. I can't really talk in detail about that because that stuff remains classified, and because I'm not a left-wing liberal elite, I would be charged and convicted if I did, unlike Hillary. But it is now breaking that the FBI began an FCI, Foreign Counterintelligence investigation against Trump because they had to cover up their loss of prosecuting Hillary, which would have been a slam dunk when Comey said, I'm not going to give this case to the Attorney General Lynch, who had just met with Hillary's husband, Bill, former President Clinton, on the tarmac in a private aircraft in Phoenix. And so, to cover up all of their crimes, they are having to manufacture a scripted crime and investigation against Trump, which is exactly what the DOJ did against me, and leak fake documents right down the line. But this is huge because it shows that not only the DOJ is corrupt, but the intelligence community has been corrupted, which is really no surprise because we knew this when they went after Flynn, and he had been with DIA like me again, and they intercepted his communications and leaked only parts of it. And now we know that Comey, among others, has been leaking classified information to his left-wing media sources while denying Congressional Classified Intelligence Committee members. But the IG report, Inspector General's report, is about to come out, and this is going to be huge. And I do expect more indictments, but on the left. This is Jeff Prather on the Chips and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point. Remember to check out PratherPoint.com. And if you're interested, I have a Prather and Pizza on June 2nd in Tucson. Call 520-241-7690.
And that was Jeff Prather with the Prather Point. We apologize. It was a little bit rough recording, but you know, we do the best we can, and Steve did a great job with that. Lots of good stuff there on the Prather Point. You know, things are getting hot and furious, I think. Let's go ahead, George, and I'm going to bring in our guest here, and Brandon Martin, who is congressional candidate for CD2, right? Congressional District
That's
Number
right,
2.
yes.
Welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. And, you know, we'll get into all your background and everything, but because we just heard the Prather Point and you got to listen to it, one of the things that George noticed on your bio is that you served in the Army for 11 years, fought in Afghanistan as Army intelligence professional, collecting intelligence information on enemy combatants. So this is kind of a little bit up your alley. So before we get started, I'm just going to ask you if you have any commentary about Jeff's Prather Point.
No, I just think that, as was highlighted, we have a lot of people in our government that think they're in a ruling class. They think that they're above the people that they're supposed to represent. And we have an investigation going on right now that's been going on for a while. I believe it just hit its year mark, and you know, it's unfortunate, and that's really why I'm running. You know, I felt a strong urge from the need to run because our elected officials have gotten out of touch with the people they represent, and they now think they're above us in a ruling type class, and we need to change that.
Yes, and you know, every day I hear more and more news, and it really is hard to keep up with. And I'm a political junkie, but George does a better job, I think, than I do. But there's so much to keep up with. But what I try to keep positive about it, it is coming out, and I'm always thinking, okay, this is what's being reported, this is what we know, but what do we not know? That kind of bothers me. What more information is out there? Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Brandon, and I'm going to use this nice little beautiful flyer because it has some good bullet points. He is a veteran. He's pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, constitutional conservative, a local citizen. And it says, a candidate of and for the people, he will work tirelessly fighting to protect freedom and individual liberties for the citizens of Arizona's 2nd Congressional District, a veteran of the United States Army, and wishes to continue serving his fellow Arizonans by seeking election to the U.S. Congress. Most importantly, he is a Christian, a father, an Arizonan, and proud citizen of these United States. You have quite a nice little sheet here of your platform, which I know people can go to your website. Let me give you that website too. It's martinforfreedom.com.
Yes.
Is that right?
FOR, martinforfreedom.com.
Okay.
Check us out. Follow us on Facebook, and we try to keep up to date and keep in touch with the people.
Great. And also, I'm glad you said that. As a reminder, if you're watching us on Facebook, you might be watching us on Chips, Litter, and Salsa Show, our Facebook page. Or you can also go to Center Right Radio Facebook page, watch from there. Or if something happens and you can't do Facebook, or your Facebook goes down, you know, because you're such a conservative like we are, right, George? You can go to centerright.live and you can watch our show from there. We are growing. I'm really excited
By
about
leaps
that.
and bounds.
Yeah, so if you also can share the show, that would be fantastic. We appreciate that. Okay, Brandon, you are running for office, and you gave us kind of your main reason for running. Give us a little bio on yourself and what you think people should know about you first and foremost.
Well, first, it's going to take strong leadership to go to Washington and make a change. There are people up there, and I'm sure you're familiar with the Freedom Caucus, but there's people up there that right now are fighting for conservative principles, saying that the government should operate by the Constitution. And, you know, as I spoke, we have a class of citizens that think that because they represent us, they're somehow above us, or that they have rules that we don't, or they can operate how they want. So, you know, we need strong leadership to go to Washington and stand up for what's right and stand up for the citizens, especially in CD2, and that's what I'm going to do, is help make Southern Arizona great and, you know, return some strong common sense principles to Washington.
Do you have a political background?
I don't. I was an Army intelligence professional, and I worked at Fort Huachuca, and I was an instructor there, and then went on to work for the Secretary of the General Staff as a training coordinator. So I was in charge of training paths and budget for about 474 civilians when I left, and now in this race running for CD2, and just going to fight hard to secure the border and strengthen our military and keep the economy growing.
You say right here that that we shouldn't be in the United Nations. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, I think that right now you see Ambassador Nikki Haley, and she's doing a great job. She's out there. She's standing strong every day, and we have actors in the United Nations that don't care for our agenda, and we've had warnings about that, and our founders, when we enter into an agreement with other countries over a long-term period, whose interests are we serving? Are we serving the American people's interest, or do we start serving someone else's interest? So with President Trump's America First agenda, we need to get back to taking care of Americans, because we are that shining light. We're an example for people to come and say, there's the model that works. That's it right there. That republic, that is how we should be. And that's what that's what we are.
Shouldn't we be in something like the United Nations? So like you say, is to stave off war, we have to have dialogue. The only way we can have dialogue is through some kind of forum where nations are represented. It doesn't have to be the United Nations. It could be another type of United Nations, but made differently. Don't you agree? Without all this, United Nations, where it's nowhere near what we would.
Well, we have embassies, and we have ambassadors. And I don't believe in long-term agreements. We need to serve America's interests. I care about the American people. That's it. That's what I care about, the American people. There are things going on around the world every day, all day. My concern is for those Americans here in District 2, Southern Arizona, and the United States.
And we care about our chipsters as well, so please don't go away, because we have another segment with candidate Brandon Martin for CD2. I'm Alice Lara here with
Jorge.
And we'll be right back with more from the Molcajete and the Chips and Salsa Show here on Center Right Radio. We are right here for you.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot, for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I did the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Did you know that Center Right Radio is looking for new programming? Contact us today at centerright.live. Center Right Radio is now accepting new advertisers. Get in touch with us today at centerright.live.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/AZ. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for listening to Center Right Radio.
And we are back with another segment of the Chips and Salsa Show in the Molcajete. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge the deplorable, Hillary Clinton's one of her deplorable ones.
Hey George, I also want to say, if you're watching us on Facebook, I got this great shirt, and that's from my friend Deb Westrom. Woo! Cowgirls for Trump. Yeehaw! And in the next segment, we're going to bring in my friend John Westrom for a military moment, and actually we have another military moment here with Brandon. But his wife Deb brought me this shirt, so I'm so excited I had to go put it on, and it fits perfect. Woohoo! All right, we are here with our candidate Brandon Martin. He is running for CD2. You can learn more about him at Martin, MARTIN 4 FOR freedom.com. And CD2 is Martha McSally's district. Congresswoman Martha McSally decided to run for the U.S. Senate. So there are 4 people running, right, Brandon?
There are 4 people in the race right now, yes.
Okay, good. One of the things we have to ask you about, obviously, is, well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about first. Unfortunately, we had a horrible event yesterday, that shooting in Santa Fe, Texas, and that was awful. So, do you have any thoughts on that? Because the left is always trying to issue in gun control and all that good stuff, bad stuff, I should say. But I would like for you to comment about that if you went in as a congressman.
Oh, my thoughts and prayers are with the families of those that were affected. But as far as the left, it doesn't change anything. You have a right to keep and bear arms, and you know these people that are out there committing these acts. These are criminals. These are people that are doing evil, and you know, trying to punish law-abiding citizens is not the answer. And our Second Amendment gives us the right to keep and bear arms. So I will continue that fight, and I will not let the left. What they try to do is they try to use these, you know, horrible tragedies to push their agenda, when what they should be doing is saying, how do we protect our communities? How do we get more involved in our communities and watch out for this sort of thing? And that's what we really need to start talking about, is how do we stop these people from doing these evil things and stop blaming the guns, because the guns are not the problem. It's the people, it's our society. We need more personal responsibility, and we need to protect our kids. We need to do threat assessments on the schools. We need to have security there. You know, I posted earlier, but our Hollywood actors, our politicians, all these people that, you know, back in that establishment class, that ruling class, they believe that armed security is important enough for them. Why isn't it important for our children?
Yeah, and I always love how you keep referring to it as a ruling class, because it truly is. It really is. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about, because of where you are. Oh, and by the way, aren't you Latino also?
No, I'm not.
Latino? You're not?
No.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking that you were. I was trying to make you. Anybody who's a guest on our show is honorary Latino, right, George? Yep. It doesn't matter.
Well, the way I see it is we're all Americans, whether, you know, whatever your ethnicity is, we're Americans and we're here. And I want you to come to martinforfreedom.com, get on the campaign, and let's help, you know, push that agenda, President Trump's agenda, America first, and make America great again.
Okay, and that's great. But what I do want to ask you about, because you are from the southern part of our state, very active border down there, and illegal immigration is still a big problem. In fact, we had an interesting comment this week that the left is trying to say the president was calling all illegal immigrants and immigrants animals, when he was actually referring to MS-13. And you know, your girlfriend Nancy Pelosi, George, was really making a big deal about it. I'm hoping that it backfires on the left. But you live down there in the southern part, and you see this every day, and this is a great opportunity, because a lot of people watch this from all over the country.
Right.
And to tell it how it is really down there, and it is a problem.
Yeah, we have large parts of our border that are not secure, and that's not just where, you know, you may have heard about these places where we just have strands of barbed wire, and some places where there's nothing. It's not just there. It's also at our ports of entry, and right there in CD2 we have the Douglas Port of Entry, and it's very old. It was built in 1933, and it needs to be updated, and we need to get the right funding vehicles to do that. So we have a lot of stuff to do to secure our border, and I'm going to help President Trump do that. We're going to help build that wall, and then we're going to look at, after that, enforcing the laws that are on the books. We already have laws on the books. We don't need to, let's stop talking about new laws and other countries' laws. Let's enforce our laws, and let's protect our citizens in our neighborhoods and communities, and then we can move on from there.
A novel concept, enforce the laws. If we could only do that, do a little bit better job about that. George, you have a question.
If you were to win and you go to the House of Representatives, how would you handle the good old boys club that they have over there? It just seems like they wheel and deal each House person for their own benefit, whereas instead of looking at the bill itself and quit adding these amendments, and by the time the bill comes through, it becomes so full of amendments, because to get a vote, you know, for you to promise your vote, you have to get something for your state or something maybe for the lobbyists or so. I know you don't believe in lobbyists and that stuff, but it just seems like the nature of Washington. Once they get in office there, it becomes a good old boys club, you know, like, you know, you're gonna vote for my amendment, but I'll vote for your amendment, but, you know, let me give you, you know, give me this. They add another little amendment.
And it would seem to be so much more difficult because you're fresh and brand new, and so you don't have power.
We're going there to change Washington. That's the goal. That's why I'm running. We're not going there to jump into that system. It's time to go there and tell that system enough. We're saying, look, these are our principles. This is where we stand, and we will make, you know, we will make laws, and we will, you know, pass budgets and things where we can, but we will not compromise on our core values and our core beliefs as a party. And we've gotten so far away from that. You look at our budget and our spending, you know, that's not conservative. And we just had a chance to be conservative and vote on a Senate bill that would cut spending and go to balance the budget. We didn't do that. So what I would say to you is I'm going to keep my promise to the people that I'm going to change Washington. I'm going to post an hour-by-hour schedule every week of what I'm doing, where I've been. You'll know whether I'm on the floor, in committee, whatever I'm doing. And I'm going to create YouTube videos like Congressman Biggs. I will put videos out there, and you will know why I did or did not vote on a bill. And I'm going to explain to you. I can tell you that I won't vote on a bill that I haven't had time to read. If I don't know what's in it, why would I vote on it? So I tell you that, and I think we need to start moving to a system where we vote on, we make bills one issue at a time. You know, so that way we can't hold our military hostage over some other social issue or whatever. We need to go in, tackle one issue, and then let the people know, hey, this is what we're doing. We're here. I'm here fighting for you. You know, this is what you sent me to Washington for. If you like the way I'm fighting, you'll send me back. But I'm not going there to make friends. I'm going there for the people in Southern Arizona and CD2, and we're going to start to fix this.
And what about term limits? Do you believe in term limits?
I do believe in term limits. I'm going to self-impose term limits. It's been on my website since day one. But what I don't want is, you know, some people are saying, well, we need the government to tell us that you can only serve so many terms. And I'm not in favor of that, because what that says to me is, you know what, our right to vote, that already built-in term limit, our right to vote, we're incapable of exercising that responsibly, government. So now we're going to advocate for you to come in on our behalf and tell us, well, since you can't effectively vote, we're going to limit your representatives to a certain number of terms. And I'm not for that. I'm for getting the government out of our life so we can self-govern. That's what we were supposed to do. So I want to give the power back to the people, and I don't need the government doing me any more favors.
So would you limit yourself to?
Yes, I am going to limit myself. And on my website, I have listed 2 terms for a senator and 4 terms for a representative.
Okay. All right. We're going to wrap this up. You are going to continue and stay with us through the whole show when we bring John in. And we just want to let you know this was Brandon Martin we're talking to, running for Congressional District 2. And please continue here on the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Al Slaughter with. We have lots more to go, and we'll be right back.
Thank you. MartinForFreedom.com.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana.
the storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
And we are back with more of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Center Right Radio. Center Right Radio. I'm trying to get this slogan going. Let me know if you think it's dumb or you like it. Center Right Radio. Right here for you. What do you think, George?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. I'm Alice Lada, and that was my partner, George Ortiz.
Don Jorge.
The deplorable. And we're going to go ahead and continue the show. And we like to do military moments each week. And here we are privileged this week to actually have a couple of military moments in studio with us. We've invited my friend John Westrom. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show today, Alice. It's nice being here. Thank you. Nice meeting you too, Jorge.
And you are a veteran of the Air Force.
Yes, I retired from the United States Air Force, yes.
And I should also mention that our previous guest, Brandon Martin, is also a veteran in your Army, right?
Yes, go Army.
Okay, right on. So we've got
two veteranos.
Right on. Okay, and today actually happens to be Armed Forces Day. So this is the day to have two veterans on, don't you think, George?
And thank you guys for your service to our great country.
Thank you.
Salute.
It was my privilege.
John, tell us when you were in the Air Force and what you did.
Well, it's not really one of those careers that is going to be making a movie anytime soon, but I spent a little over 21 years in the service. Started out enlisted, went to California, give the elevator version of my military career. Was enlisted, finished my degree, went to officer training school, was a missile launch officer for a while, and ended up retiring out of McGuire Air Force Base. And the buzzword of the day I know is Inspector General. I retired as an Inspector General from McGuire, as a Deputy Inspector General.
Wow.
So a lot of things in between, but did everything in the Air Force except fly airplanes.
I thought you were going to say you were one of those silos
I was well, I should have been in there for 4 years. Made it almost 3 years, but yeah, the guy that goes out in the middle of nowhere and sits 60 feet underground, and
You sat there.
yeah, and I sat there waiting and ready to rock and roll.
So what do? Just sit in the room and just maybe look at videos or?
Well, yeah,
read books or.
A lot of them went back to school, so that was a good time to go back. You know, we were trained for quite a number of weeks, and in training, and we get trained to not do our job. Hopefully, we never did our job. So that left a lot of downtime down in the capsule. So 60 feet underground. A lot of people went for their master's degree.
Well, what happened in Hawaii? That false alarm that went off, and
yes.
Do you guys get those scary moments once in a while, or is it just training, or did
it ever? Well, now our mics are too loud. We apologize for that.
Did you ever experience anything, kind of scary?
Well, I'm sure Brandon can appreciate this. So everything is training, retraining, and as soon as they trained you, then they went back and retrained you again. As soon as they retrained you, then they went in and trained you on it again. Then you exercised it. So. Yeah, there were some scary moments out there, but none to the point where, like the movies or anything else like that.
Like Hawaii with that guy actually.
No.
Well, that was kind of scary.
No,
it went out of what was it? A missile? They said a missile was being launched or something. I don't know. Was it?
The alert went out, but it was a false one.
It was a false alert.
You know, there is actually outside of Tucson. I visited, and there is a silo there, and it was open to the public a few years ago. And it was quite interesting. Can you disclose where you were sitting?
Well, I believe that would have been an Atlas missile down here. I'm not sure, but I was sitting in what they call Minuteman II weapon system silos, and you sat in the middle, and you had 10 missiles all around you, and waited for what they call an emergency access message to go to war.
Wow.
And thankfully, we never did our job.
I heard that they have old style computers in those where they have like the floppy disk where
yes.
People can't hackers can't go in and hack those.
I can't begin to tell you I'm an IT professional or anything. I'm a missile guy, and I worked with in the 70s and the 80s. I worked with technology from the 50s that was starting to be developed back in the 40s. So what you do, you walk around with an iPhone right now, and it's probably got more technology in the iPhone than we had in the defense of our country at the time that I was on.
I think it's safer that way anyway. That you don't have. Cell phones or that modern technology inside the silos. Who knows what could be hacked and stuff.
Well, I'm sure they have technology. I think what he's trying to say is back when he was doing it, it was just a whole different ball game.
It really was. The systems were so antiquated, and when it finally started coming out, is that we have to build up military and such. Is that notwithstanding that the American public doesn't need to know exactly everything going on in the military, if they saw some of the systems that we had to work with in the service, it was to say, how do you get planes off the ground? I don't know.
This is a question I ask, and I'll ask of you also as well, Brandon. But in today's world of the military, we always like to ask our military guests, would you recommend this to someone considering a military career? What advice would you have for them as they think about it?
I will go to our future congressman here and ask his opinion first. Certainly.
Well, first, yes, I recommend that everyone go down to Green Valley and spend some money and go to the Missile Museum. But back to the other question. Back to the other question. So what I'd say is it was an honor to serve. It's not for everyone. We have a volunteer force here, and that's great for our country. But if you have the privilege, it was truly an honor.
I'd have to support exactly what our future congressman said, though, too, on that aspect, is that joining the military right now is really more of the calling that just wasn't there even back in the 70s when I was there. I joined for different reasons than people join right now, but as our future congressman said, people join for different reasons right now, and it's more for the love of the country, and it's not because you're Republican, it's not because you're Democrat, it's probably the greatest nonpartisan organization that we have in the United States right now, because they do it for the love of their country.
So you guys, in your opinion, it should remain volunteer?
Yeah, to me, there's nothing, if there's ever a time where we need more people, then we'll need more people. But for now, volunteer, and if that's your calling, that's what some of us choose to do. It's not, like I said, it's not for everyone, but it was an honor to serve and to defend my country and the Constitution.
It also appears, I think we're finally getting increased funding for our military, and that is supposed to be one of our primary functions. The government is supposed to do that, take care of us, have a strong national defense. And I'm apologizing, our technical director saying may be having some audio issues, so if you are, we're very sorry, but oh, for us too, okay. So for George and I don't know, maybe the military just ranks higher here. That's what it is. We're just the peon civilian. Well, these are veterans, actually, there's not in the military anymore. But I'm very happy to hear that more money is being spent about that. We're going to go to a little break, but we're going to be right back and talk more to John Westrom, our veteran military moment, and also our candidate, Brandon Martin. I'm Alice Lara with George Ortiz. But don't go away. We'll have more of the Chips and Salsa show here on Center Right Radio. We are right here for you.
Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14...
41, 31, 13. We took
a left on Carroll
Raccoon
Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the search engine and digital marketing race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14...
41, 31, I mean 13. We
took a left on Carroll
Raccoon
Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the search engine and digital marketing race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
And we are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. If you're watching us on Facebook, you're saying, what the heck are they doing? We had a little bit of technical glitches here, but no worries. We've got it all together, and hopefully you can hear us fine and dandy. I'm Alice Lada here with...
Don Jorge. Always Don Jorge.
Always. And we had a nice military moment segment. We got the honor of having 2 veterans here with us. One is CD2 candidate Brandon Martin, and he was in the Army. Salute to you.
Thank you.
And also my good friend John Westrom, who was in the Air Force and had a very interesting job, which you guys are both going to have to come back, and we can do a whole hour just talking about that
I'd love
stuff.
to come back, Alice. Thank
Please
you very
do.
much for the opportunity. That'd be great.
Please do. So now we're going to do is a kind of fun part segment of our show, and we're going to do the cocotazos and the whole enchiladas. Do you know what a cocotazo is, guys? George, tell them.
A cocotazo is, and in the Puerto Rican, I'm Puerto Rican, you get a knot on the back of your head when you start acting stupid. Your mom comes back, or your dad, it's like, kind of get your attention that maybe you're doing something stupid. That was called a cocotazo. In the Mexican heritage, it's a chanclazo. When the grandma used to take off, or the mom used to take off her slipper and just sling it across the room and get your attention really quick. So, we call it the cocotazo, but you could call it the chanclazo. It's when you act a little stupid, you say something dumb, and that's what the award, or not award, but the nomination, because it's not an award, it's a nomination, the cocotazo nomination.
So if you follow our Facebook through the week, Chips, Letter, and Salsa Show. We nominate different cocotasos. I put a lot of them, George finds them, our producer Sonia does. If you have one, if you're a chipster, follow us, and you have one, you know, let us know about it, because there are so many. We never have a laugh. We have at least 7, sometimes we have 9 or 10. So
Pretty good.
what I'm gonna do is read the cocotasos, and we're all gonna vote for what we think is the best cocotaso. Like, I should say the worst almost, heavy duty. So let's start with number 1. Hillary Clinton, who is our nominee quite a bit, claims the country is uneasy about women being in power. Number 2, there is a lesbian couple, and they say they were not allowed in prom court due to their sexuality. So you may not be familiar with these stories, and if you're not, please go to our Facebook site and you can find them and read about them. Number 3, comedian jokes about killing ICE agents and ends up on the wrong end of the DHS home raid. Oops. All right, number 4, female student suspended for sexual misconduct after drunken hookup files revenge suit. Did you guys read that at all?
No.
That was.
Vaguely remember something.
No, I don't.
I mean, you know, it's pretty promiscuous out there. I'll say that. I'll use that word. And all of a sudden, they decide, okay, you know what? I think I need to file a lawsuit about this. Okay, number 5. I know you heard about this one. There was a commercial, and you'd be interested in it as a congressional candidate. But the gentleman said, F word, the NRA, and it was in an ad. But I think it's going to do the Democrats. I think it's going to. Did you see it, George?
No.
Oh, you missed that? Wow. The guy was on Tucker and everything. Did you see it? Anybody?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my goodness, you missed it. Okay. I mean, he says it, and somehow it went on the air. Okay. The next one, Starbucks.
Was he a Democrat?
Yeah, he was a Democrat. The Starbucks is under fire again for Beaner label. Did you hear about that story?
About what?
Beaner label.
Yeah, he wrote Beaner on the cup because he couldn't understand the name of what the guy told. I think it was Pedro was his name, and the clerk didn't understand it and put Beaner, and
so he wrote that on the cup.
And I think the Pedro was right to get mad. His name wasn't Beaner, it was Pedro. And why the girl put Beaner on there, and they said, well, we just put it because we didn't understand his name. That is so
like
insensitive.
whose name could be Beaner, or who would say that?
No, that's so insensitive. That was racial, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing, okay, because my heritage is Mexican, okay, and Beaner's like, you know, I think it's a funny term. Well, the guy was offered $50. I would have taken the $50 or say make it 100.
No,
it offended you, Mr. Puerto Rico?
I think it's very racial, and they shouldn't have.
So you believe they did it on purpose? Oh. Now when you go into Starbucks, you don't have to buy anything. They're going to let you just be in there. That's a follow-up I just read on my way over. Okay, so anyways, number 6 was, we'll say the Beaner label, we'll call that one. Number 7, media goes into overdrive, lying about Trump's animal comment. Now I know you saw that one, right?
With the M13, yeah.
He's talking about MS-13.
Yeah, the Democrats are going crazy. There's just no reason. He was right when he said they were animals. Those guys behead people, they rape women. I mean, they're beyond help. MS-13 is a savage group, and I agree with the president. They are animals, and the Democrats to start protecting them, that's ridiculous.
So we have nominated the Democrats for their reaction to this, or they're trying to make a big deal about it. They know that's what he was talking about. Okay, so now it's time to vote. I'm going to go to our candidate first. Choose the one that you think's the best.
I have to agree and go with number 7, and that's not a, to me, that's not a political issue. That's not a wedge issue. You're talking about American citizen safety, and you know, at that point I was going to go with Hillary at number 1,
right,
but she's just irrelevant. But you know, it's when you're talking about the safety of American citizens and the left defending them, and Pelosi going up to that press conference, to me it's along the lines of treason.
Yeah.
It is treasonous, and
they're what you call terrorists, really.
Yes, I mean they are terrorists. They're coming into our country and harming American citizens, and when you have the left who keeps saying these things and trying to demonize the right, you know, it's uncalled for, and it's treasonous, and they need to be held accountable.
And do you think it's going to backfire?
I hope so.
Democrats? I do too.
I hope, you know what, and you can start by electing a strong conservative.
There you go.
There
You're
you go.
good. You're good. All right, let's go to John. What do you think? What do you vote for?
Future Congressman brought up some very valid points here. My whole position starts out with the candidates that lost, like Hillary and Brendan. You're absolutely right, though. Too. Why are we giving any more credibility, any more airtime to somebody that is obviously just so counterproductive to what we're trying to accomplish in the United States? So, why Hillary even comes into conversations anymore is in its own way disturbing. Why are we giving airtime for a woman to go over there to Pakistan, wherever the case may be, country XYZ, and say, well, women are not treated correctly. Well, why are you doing that over there? Okay, so I'm.
So your vote is for?
I'm going to have to go with number 7 as well, too, because and what Brandon brought up was exactly right. When it starts reflecting right back into specific citizens of the United States, I think that's a reflection of our society not being able to go ahead and take on that problem. If it involves corporations or anything else like that, they got enough money. They don't need my vote in little South Arizona. So I'm going to have to go with that. Is that anybody that thinks that they're arrogant enough they can put down Beaner on the cup?
I told you.
What George says,
where
are you coming from? Just where are you coming from? I find it extremely offensive. And
that's
if it is racist, then it's racist. Let's call it what it is.
That's like if a white person goes in there and orders coffee and they didn't get your name and they got Whitey on there. That is racist.
Well, the great thing about America is we can vote with our dollars.
Yeah.
So I mean, if this bothers you, then you have the freedom to go down to the next coffee shop and get your brew there.
And you make a big deal about it on Facebook, whatever you want to tell your friends, and you take that $50 card. George, who do you vote for?
I say number 7 too. That Trump calling them animals was rightly done, and the Democrats coming unhinged because of that is ridiculous, and it shows where the left is now. They're just way out there, and by what I hear, California is really, really going to the extremes of the left, and it's becoming an example of how far you can get into socialism, into Marxism, and it's really sad. I believe there should be 2 parties, 3 parties, but not socialism or Marxism, and it's going to have to get straightened out. And right now, I would say my nomination is number 7.
Steve, I want to ask you, but I also want to ask you, can we have a few more minutes of the Chips and Salsa show since we've had technical difficulties? So we can finish them off okay. Do you have a vote, Sexy Steve?
I mean, they're all Hillary and the media. I would say the media going crazy over the animal content when it was obvious. It's
becoming unanimous. Okay, if my number 2, so if I have like a Chanclazo award for number 2, is the F the NRA. I cannot believe the guy had the audacity to actually do an ad like that. But I think it's good because once again the Democrats expose themselves. Yes. But I have to, just like all of you, go with number 7. So the media goes into overdrive lying about Trump's animal comment. That's the winner, the Cocotazo winner. But now what we do, because we don't like to just have negative stuff, we like to have positive stuff. So we came up with the whole Enchilada Awards. So now we've got nominations for that.
These are awards. These aren't nominations. These are an award.
Yeah. Okay, so the nominations for the whole Enchilada Award is...
It's a good thing.
Number 1, Green Beret videos himself being waterboarded to support the Trump nominee. Did you guys see that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah?
I did not see that. I apologize. I did not see that one.
It's amazing. Okay, and again, you can see these. You can go back to our Chips and Salsa Show Facebook site, and you can find them.
And why would that be an Enchilada Award?
Because he did that. He waterboarded himself to show, because people are saying, oh, McCain was against that nominee because she had been for it. And our own guys have to undergo waterboarding.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
To get information. So he did it. Go and watch it. Number 2, gunman tries to rob kids, families outside of a school, and runs into a pistol-packing mother. Did you see that one?
Yes, I knew about that.
That was awesome. And wasn't she also a police officer, I think, off duty?
That part I don't know.
I think she was, but I believe, if I'm correct, it was in a South American country.
Yes, it was in Brazil, I believe. Yes, thank you for doing that, and that's important to note. But well done. Yes. That was really well done. Number 3, police officer brings down a gunman who opened fire at an Illinois high school. So we have to nominate that person too. Okay, number 4, Sarah Sanders. She says, this is cool. Animal is not a harsh enough description for MS-13 members, because somebody in the media pool was saying, oh, what about what Trump said? He goes, you know what, that's not really, he wasn't even being harsh enough. So that's our number 4 nomination for Sarah Sanders. And the last one for the whole enchilada nomination, Eric Trump thanks officers for taking down the Doral shooter, and Trump's critics spew new craziness. Okay. All right, so those are your 5. George, you want to pick one?
I'll say number 4.
Number 4, Sarah Sanders. That was a good one. Okay, number 4 for you. Let's go to Steve. You want to pick one, or are you too busy back there? Yeah, you're probably pretty busy back there.
Sarah Sanders.
Sarah Sanders for you. All right, John Westrom.
I think the Sarah Sanders one is too easy. Because Sarah Sanders, I could sit there and watch her all day long, just sitting there saying, what's the next thing you're going to say? I've seen her all over the place. I know who her dad is, and it's certainly reflective of who she is. So I don't think Sarah necessarily needs my vote here. I think what is really the counterpoint to everything going on with these shootings is number 3, what you had on there. You know, somebody stepping in, and there was no newsworthiness to it. We didn't hear anything about it.
We didn't.
I'm not so sure that, and I'm going to get you down a rabbit hole on this, so stop me when we go down too far.
Well, I am Alice, so Alice in Wonderland. Okay.
Oh, there that's right. The root cause analysis that we fail to do on these situations going on, we jump to a solution without knowing what the problem is. And so when it's something like this comes up, where a shooter comes in and stops what is perceived as our big social issue of school shootings, and when it's stopped, we fail to recognize how important that is that it's apparent that the root cause problem is not necessarily school shootings, it's what we're doing to prevent them. And this is I think it's a great story. I think it's a great story that just never made it.
All right, well said. Okay, and now we go to Brandon Martin.
I have to agree. I'm going with number 3. Make this interesting and tie it up, because that police officer, you know, did what was needed and protected those children. Yes. And you know, hats off, and that's what they're there for. And it just goes to speak when, you know, when you have the right person doing the right thing. The gun was there, it saved lives. And you know, you can let the left tries to push this narrative of the guns are evil. Well, guns stop crimes at a very high rate in this country, and we need to stop talking about the guns, you know, and start talking about the real issue, which is, why is this happening? It's the people. We've gotten too far, you know, we've gotten too far away from the family element, the community element, and that's what we need to tackle.
Culture.
You know, in a way, I think, in the same respect, these shootings we've seen have been kids with mental issues, and parents that should have seen some of the signs, and parents not paying attention to their kids. When a kid has "I was born to kill" a T-shirt, or puts on his, they got to follow what they put on Facebook too. What they see their kid, even though the kids go in the bedroom and do that. But there's things that red lights should have gone out, and he should have had those weapons out of the reach of his kids. So it goes back to the parents, and to, like you said, and I agree with you, that it goes back to the parents. And they had some suggestions that maybe they should have something at school where they follow certain things from the students.
When I was growing up, everyone in my town, I can remember, everyone in town, it seemed like, had a gun rack in the back window of their truck, and at least a rifle or 2 up there. And, you know, if you look at the Parkland shooting, if you look at Florida, government failed. The school failed, the local government failed, all the way up to the FBI. So more laws is not going to fix the problem. And we need to call it what it is. And whether you're religious or not, and I am a Christian, is if you take that, it's more love. It's, let's get into our neighborhoods. Let's care what our kids are watching. Let's start reading them some books. Let's get them off of the electronics, and let's fix the issue, which is society. That's what's breaking down.
I think you're so right, and it's a culture war. And what I wish is everybody was familiar with the show, remember The Rifleman with Chuck Connors? That show has everything in it. That was Americana, because he had his rifle, but it was only used for good and for defense. There's religion in there, a respect for God and for people and goodness. And we've kind of lost that away. And we need to get it back somehow. So we need to send good people, and that's why we have this show. And we have Republican candidates because we think Republicans are superior to Democrats mostly. And that's what we do because of what we believe in. We're pro-life. And, you know, somebody who is going after somebody for a comment about animals, but yet they're okay with abortion, but they're criticizing somebody for making an animal comment. I don't get that. But I will also vote for, you know, Sarah Sanders. I love her, and we could almost nominate her every week. You're right, John, and we do sometimes. But I love the pistol packing mama, even though she was an off-duty police officer. That was awesome, and she was strong, and do that. So many good ones, but I also have to go with the police officer. So I think that I got everybody's vote right. So that makes the winner the police officer bringing down the gunman who opened fire at an Illinois high school. And let's hope we don't have anything this week. We've had enough for a while. Okay, I want to thank
Alice, can I add just one more thing? Because I think this is important to the future congressman, what he was saying, and to him on my point was that it really comes down to three things. And it only comes down to three simple things. I don't have the solution. I don't even know what the problem is. But if you take into account that it usually comes down to three things, and it's bullying, mental health issues, and parental control. Just about anything that we see going on, it goes back to one of those three things. So if we haven't taken control of the three legs that hold us up as people, and one of them break out, we're going to continue to have Parkland shootings because we don't know why they're happening.
And it's difficult.
And we have it right in front of us, as Brandon pointed out.
And it's difficult because our families are not intact like they used to be either. You know,
yes.
when one of two marriages fails and divorce, and it's really a tough time. But we appreciate everybody, all you chipsters, for listening to us today. Thank you, John Western, for being on Military Moment.
I do have something for you.
Come back. You have something for me?
I have some.
Okay.
Had I known there was a third one, and I probably overlooked it, so I owe something to our congressman here though too. But I'll have to do it again in the future. So I apologize to you.
I appreciate it.
A short story, and maybe for your listeners, maybe for you. Have you ever heard of the term challenge? I'm sorry, if I'm running over, I will speed it up.
I think we got a few more minutes, right, Steve? Got a few more minutes? Okay.
I have about 30 seconds. I'll do this in 30 seconds. If you haven't heard the term challenge coin, it dates back a number of years. It's used in military units to recognize individuals. It goes back to World War II or. There's a challenge coin behind me, so he can fill you in on all the details. And if you'd like to look it up, just look it up online, what challenge coins are all about. But once you get a challenge coin, you're recognized as part of that unit, and you become a member of that unit, and you're recognized by that unit. So while I have no official capacity to do this as a retired major, I want to welcome you and Jorge to be honorary retirees of the United States Air Force,
cool.
And I give you challenge coins that show that you are now a retired member of the United States Air Force.
Thank you so much.
And this goes back to your support that you have for our military, and the staunch support that you have for our military. And you can go out and buy these, and you can talk to other military officers, and they'll tell you the same thing. You can go out and buy these, but unless somebody gives them to you, there's no meaning to it.
Well, thank you, John.
So you are my official guest as now Air Force retirees. So welcome to the family.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Very nice.
And Brandon, I owe you one. I'm sorry. I'll stop in Washington and drop you one off. Okay.
Sounds good.
Look at that.
Come on by. Visit us first at martinforfreedom.com. Follow us on Facebook. We're out there. We're going to secure the border. We're gonna boost our military up, and then we're going to cut regulations to keep the economy going.
All right. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, candidate Brandon Martin, for coming in for CD2. Thank you, John Western.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve, our technical director, who really did a good job today with all the challenges. So thank you very much. And I'm Alice Latta with
Don Jorge.
Be with us again, please, next Saturday. I don't know who George is going to have. I can't be here. But we will have another edition of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Center Right Radio, on Facebook and everything. I want you to guac on. Have a wonderful Armed Forces Day. And please share this, the Chips and Salsa Show here on Center Right Radio. We are right here for you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
We're still on Facebook.